KCCA Public Accounts Committee has released a third report highlighting procurement, fund utilization and process of expenditure for financial year 2016-17 and 2017-18. The chairman, PAC, Bob Kabazguruka, expressed disappointment by the authorities not presenting the reports to Parliament, and certain pertinent issues remain unresolved.
Through, you will notice an incident, a matter arising, where KCCA paid for concrete bedding for culverts. And it's clear that we paid money to the contractor for a concrete bedding. But the contractor laid compacted maram, just compacted earth. And it's simply, so by delivering substandard work and supervising and approving substandard work, eventually our infrastructure projects, our roads will not last.
PAC reports about the unjustifiable variation in the costs, which caused a loss of funds under the lump sum contracts.
Undertaken from lot 1 to 6 in August 15, 2015, work initially estimated to cost 92 billion was later varied to 158 billion, which PAC says lead to the linkage of KCC fund through the issuance of overpriced contract 10 months later. So in this only, KCC lost almost 65 Uganda shillings.
KCC executive wondered how a contract could be awarded to China Railway 7th Group without an office, and 3.6 billion shillings had to be spent on securing contractors a site office.
In case, the PAC report has recommended that this money be recovered from the people who handled the procurement. One, the 3.6 billion, which was given for purposes of purchasing that site, the 130 million to buy laboratory equipment. You can imagine. Those are your tools. That 130 million, they were also given, in addition to the contract price to buy laboratory equipment. 50 million that to buy the contract for surveying equipment.
The director in charge of gender, Harriet Mudondo, has to account for 200 million shillings loss on the allocated 3.5 billion youth fund in 2011. KCCA is to follow up this report and ensure it is presented to Parliament. Meanwhile, the political leadership of KCCA opposed the idea of commercialization of testing COVID-19. Lukwago recommends Ministry of Health to seek a supplementary budget.
40,000 Uganda shillings. Who can afford that? Except a selected few who are in the high end of Kampala. But the urban poor, those who are in the markets, borders, in arcades, in what people cannot afford. So they are just going to aggravate the situation in Kampala here. That people cannot afford. We invite the Ministry of Health to rescind that, to revise that policy. So they can get monies from elsewhere. If they could go to Parliament and get a supplementary budget for things which are not so critical, they can always go back to Parliament if they have no money to get a supplementary budget for the purposes of financing the testing.
As Cabinet sits to resolve on either to close Kampala and Wakiso, Kampala political leadership advised that they could come with ways on how people can live with the disease. I'm Nafka Farida in Kampala.